Hi everyone, thank you so much for stopping back by my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how I made this no-sew DIY mask. It also has an insert opening on the flip side in case you want to put a filter or something to just thicken it to give you more protection. For the second mask, I did purchase this online and I just wanted to change it up a little bit, so I am adding a few embellishments. And to see how I did both of these, just keep watching. Everything that's going on, and for my peace of mind, I'm almost certain that I'll be wearing a mask to the end of the year, so I will be making a few of these, and I wanted to start out with one where we could change the filter out. So I'm using this pattern. I did find that online and it's linked in the bio, and these are the two pieces of fabric that I will be using. You can choose whatever fabric you like. I liked the outer fabric to be a little bit thicker just because I find that it's more durable. So I cut out two pieces from both pieces of fabric according to the pattern that I printed, and you want the outer fabric to be a little bit longer on the top edge, as you see here, because you are going to need to fold it over when you attach the elastic. So just keep that in mind when you're cutting it out. I also did give a little bit extra room than what the pattern originally shows, just because we're working with glue today and not a sewing machine, and that tends to make it a little bit tighter around the edges. So I'm working with fabric glue, and this is non-toxic. It's also machine washable, and I'm also going to be using my hot glue gun a few times actually, and the sticks for those are also non-toxic. So with this being so close to the face, you got to make sure you're not inhaling no fumes. Both of these will be linked in the description if you want the exact kind that I'm using here today. So to start, you are going to glue the curved edge. Now I started out using the hot glue gun just to help bond it a little bit faster while the other glue dried. I realized that all you need is a blow dryer, so you could stick to the fabric glue for this part and just blow dry it to speed up the process. It says it takes about 2 to 4 hours to dry, but mine dried a little bit faster than that. So once it's dry, it's going to look like this. You want to just reverse it to the other side and just check that there's no holes or openings. I would do that for both pieces, because what you don't want to find out is later that you had a hole there after you put everything together. Now, after you check everything, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want the two pretty sides, or the two finished sides, to be facing each other. That's the best way I can describe it. It's essentially the only way that I could get myself not to mess this up. So you're going to align that to the other fabric, and then once everything is positioned and in place, we are going to use the glue again to secure that on. So for this next step, we are only going to be gluing down the bottom and the top side. We need to leave the sides open, because that's where you would put a filter if you wanted one. Once everything is dry, you're going to flip it to the right side, and again, just poke in those areas so you make sure that you don't have any holes. I'm working with elastic that I had already pre-cut, and it was the wrong measurement. So you won't necessarily need to tie both sides like I am right now. If you have one piece of elastic, that'll work. And I like to tie a knot in case I need to adjust it once it's on. So if you glue that or sew that, odds are you might run into a problem. Once you glue on the pieces of elastic and let that dry, you are done with your no-sew mask. To the next mask, I'm going to be embellishing it with pearls. This was purchased online, and I will also link that in the description box below. What I also like about this mask is that it has another insert for a filter on the back side, so that is very nice. It comes with a few filters that you just have to replace once a month, and it helps me feel protected. But I wanted to add pearls because I like pearls. If you watched my last video, you saw my favorite jeans have pearls on it. I'm going to be using an extra strong thread here, but you can use whatever thread is in your house, and this is just how I tie a knot on the end. If you have a better way to do that, go ahead. It's what works for me. So I'm going to be sending the needle on the back side to start. Make sure that you're not sewing over the filtered fabric, so you want to make sure that you're underneath it. And once you send it through, what you will be doing is attaching the pearl bead on the other side. So just, again, be careful with the filter, because that will be annoying. You want to pull it through, attach the pearl bead. It has a hole in the center, And what you're going to do, especially if you have like a lot of thread like I just did, be careful to, don't get snagged on anything. But once it's on and through, you're going to go over, around, down, back through the fabric. And ideally you're kind of making it's like a circular motion. So you're going to go down through the fabric, pull out on the other side. Send it through the bead opening, pull that out on the other side, and go back down into the fabric. Again, being careful that you're not going through the filter. So it's basically that's what I mean by that circular motion. You're just going to go up through the bead, down, and back around and start it again. I did it a total of 3 times just to make sure it was secure, and then I tied 3 knots here on the flip side before cutting that extra thread, again just to make sure that it was secure and that the beads don't pop over time. So again, you're working on the back side to start. You're going to send the needle through, attach the bead. Once the bead is attached, I like to use my thumb right where I know I want to come back out. So I'm going down into the fabric and pushing right through. You can get as close to the other opening as possible. It doesn't have to be too far off. Send the needle through the bead again and back down. So you just do that motion 3 times or until you feel it's secure. After the second time, it does start to get a little bit tighter, but I just like to do 3 because, you know, extra security, it doesn't hurt. Thank you guys so much for watching. That is the end for this mask. I hope that you and your family are staying safe during this time, and I hope that you got a little bit of inspiration on how to make your mask at home.